Historic District Commission meeting for today, Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Maryland Land Use Article empowers Frostburg Historic District Commission to implement the city's Historic Preservation Overlay District according to the regulations set forth in the Frostburg zoning ordinance. All meetings of this commission are open to the public and conducted in compliance with Maryland's Open Meetings Act. The Frostburg Historic District Commission is charged with the preservation of historic structures and the surroundings within the designated district in order to safeguard the heritage of the city, stabilize and improve property values, strengthen the local economy, and foster civic beauty. All right. Maureen Brewer.
Here.
Rob Rapin.
Here.
Bill Detterman.
Here.
Joe Hoffman.
Here.
Our alternate, Daniel Filer, is not present with us today, and I'm Dawn Hahn. All right, commissioners, if you would please review the agenda, and when you're ready, if I could have a motion.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda is approved. And commissioners, if you would please review the minutes from our previous meeting, September 2025, and when you are ready, if I could have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. So that brings us to our project presentation this evening, 7 Frost Avenue. You want to join us up here, then?
Sure.
And Chair, I have to recuse myself since I'm connected with this request.
Okay.
You gonna sit right here?
Yes, please.
Take your pick.
Cookie man.
Yes, you're welcome to a cookie if you like. So if you would just tell us a bit about what you're proposing and what's going on with the property.
Sure. So my name is Matt Brewer. I live at 57 South Broadway. The subject property is adjacent to my property in the rear, so the side. So when I come out the back door, this house is right there. So it's on the corner of Water Street and Frost Avenue. That lot there. So I moved in to my current residence about a year ago. This house has been abandoned for, I don't know exactly how long, a while. It is certainly, in my opinion, a detriment to the character of the neighborhood. So I just happened to run into the owner of the property who was here visiting from South Carolina. I don't know exactly how long ago they lived there, a while. He described to me an event. They had a water break in the second floor of the house while they were living. They were not actually living in the house, and so the water ran for, I don't know, a couple months. I believe it was discovered by the city water department that the house was full of water when they had a $2,000 water bill or something. And so essentially it's unlivable and, in my opinion, not feasibly savable. So the current owners live in South Carolina, and they submitted a letter to the city. They're not coming back here. They have made a home there now. Have no desire or finances or interest to do anything with this property. They just want to be done with it. next to it, I want to be done with it too. So they give me the keys, I looked at it, there's significant structural damage to the floor system there, floor joists, flooring. The northern exterior wall is beginning to separate from the rest of the house, it looks like it was part of an addition at one time, probably due to the water damage. Lots of other, structural settling, structural damage to the house. I don't know if more significantly, but equally important, I think it's an environmental risk at this point. There's a colony of pigeons living in there. Pigeon waste is well documented, fungal and bacterial source of disease. From my personal inspection of the house, I won't say that I've seen any rats in there because I haven't actually seen them, but I can assure you there are animals living in that house. I don't know what they are, but has become a home to lots of different things. There's black mold throughout from the unaddressed water issues there, and it's sat long enough to a point where, everything is rotted, molded. I don't think, it is beyond a condition which could be restored. I don't even think to a saleable condition, but I think a livable condition. I mean, if you put in the cheapest materials that you could buy just to get it back up to the point where you could pass, a basic inspection, it would well exceed the value of the house. So, I would like to demolish it, landscape that lot for now. Could possibly be built upon with the new house in the future, but for now, I would like to demolish it and landscape the lot and make it part of my yard.
So you don't intend to build on it? You're just going to use it as an extension of the existing yard that your house currently has?
Yes.
Matt, has there been a transfer, or will there be a transfer of the land then to you?
Yes, so, yeah, these folks want to get out from under it. I don't want it if I can't demolish it. So that was the contingency, is me obtaining a demolition permit from the city.
So you would be in charge, not the current owner, would be in charge of the demolition?
Correct.
But it's still his property right now. So it's contingent on whether you can, you're buying it's contingent on whether you can demolish it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I will just add to that, I'm a preservationist. I have lived in and restored two of the oldest and largest houses in the city. One for 10 years, the other one for 12 years. We spent hundreds of thousands of dollars maintaining and restoring those houses. I think it's important to the community, it's important to our heritage. It's a good thing. As a realist and I'm also a professional engineer, everything has a life. When people plant buildings, stone monuments have a life, and this house has come to the end of its life cycle.
I think this project in particular really highlights the need for us to flesh out a guideline for demolition. What does that mean? What is demolition by neglect? All of those things that come into play. Because one thing that I see sitting here, this has nothing to do with your project in particular, but when we've had requests for demolition, we're creating holes in the integrity of the historic district when we're doing the demolition. The demolition should be the last thing that is tried. It shouldn't be a form in the historic district. It should not be a form of changing things. The highest and best use is not demolition in a historic district. Now, there are times when it is certainly necessary and needful to happen. But I think this just highlights, because we've had a couple now in close proximity to each other, of our real need for that here in our guidelines and how that impacts the historic district. So I just wanted to put that out there for all of us to really think about and be able to come up with something that can be approved for use going forward.
And also the wording of any kind of proposition, because there isn't anything close to the wording that we would need. I mean, this compatible with the neighborhood, I mean, it's not, to demolish something is not
Yes.
compatible with the neighborhood. So we're gonna have to come up with some kind of a different, and
Correct.
we can do that.
Right, right. Yeah, you'll have to use some different terminology to make a motion. Right.
Mhm.
You know, I agree, we need to consider how we wanna handle future demolition projects that may come forward. But in this particular case, I think it's pretty clear what we need to do.
And you can see from the pictures, it would, you'd almost have to rebuild it. I mean, there's not too much left that you could fix. And if you completely, even the outside, a friend of mine completely gutted his house, an old house, one of the older houses in Frostburg, and spent a fortune to do it. But the outside of the structure was sound. I don't know that this outside is sound. And his roof was sound. But the inside, he just completely gutted. Even took the floor off the second floor, so, no, it can be done. I know it's expensive. It seems like if the outside, maybe we'll have to make some kind of determination like that, I would think. But right now, we don't, so
Right.
I think, at least I agree that it'd probably be better to have it demolished than to sit there in that condition and get worse. Because it detracts from the neighborhood. It kind of defeats the purpose of what the Historic District Commission is, to keep neighborhoods in as good a shape as you can get them.
I think the other thing that we need to consider in all of this is what, once the structure is demolished, what is the plan for that parcel of land going forward? You know, I think, again, we need to look for the highest and best use within the historic district. And having a lot of these parking lots, open spaces, is probably not the highest and best use of it. So those are all things we need to consider when we're looking
Down the road.
at the demolition
And what the
guidelines.
what the neighborhood folks might say about it, a future proposed demolition.
I'm wondering if some other cities have something in there.
They do.
Do they?
Yeah, I would think that they probably are.
I'm sure we could look at Cumberland's.
Or Hagerstown, Frederick, I'm sure somebody.
Okay, so I'm sorry to kind of divert from this particular project. So commissioners, what is thoughts, discussion on this particular project here today?
to be a relationship between the person who would be doing the demolition and accepting the property and the previous owners. That has been, will be worked out. Um, So I would propose that we follow the procedure that has been proposed of allowing for demolition of 7 Frost Avenue by Matt, and I think we need to have some documentation from current owner about this being acceptable.
There's a letter.
Is
There's a letter.
Is the
Yeah,
letter
the
not?
owner.
The letter,
I would think so.
okay. So we have the letter of documentation. And when would you propose having the work done, Matt?
Probably this fall. I mean, they would need to, once it's removed, you have to seed them all, so grass isn't gonna grow in the winter, of course, so maybe I'll wait till spring to do it, but as soon as possible. Probably leave it a bit of dirt all over them.
The only concern I see is if we approve, and it sounds like we're leaning that way, to demolish the house, that we're only giving Matt permission to do that, and not somebody else.
I don't have an issue with that.
I think what you're getting at is not in perpetuity whoever
Right.
would want to do it
Right.
if,
Or
right.
somebody could come and demolish it and put up a
Right.
McDonald's.
Well, right, yes.
And
So,
I
yeah,
think with the proposal that we put forward and if it's approved, it should include a comment saying that it is incumbent upon the commission to initiate the process of finding a policy for how to handle future demolitions.
yeah, I think your point in particular is important.
Well, I mean, I don't think that would happen, but that could be, something could
Right.
be
So if it would,
hold into permitting anybody that
Correct.
if we just agree to the demolition period and no names,
correct,
I think we need to put Matt
right.
and Maureen's name on it.
So if something were to happen and you decide to move in 2 months and the demolition doesn't happen, that whoever owns your house doesn't have the right to demolish is what you're getting at.
Right, until they come in here and
Correct.
hear what's going on.
Right.
I have no issue with that.
Can we gobble everything that we have said into a motion?
Can we edit this, cut and paste?
Yeah, right. Let me just check, we didn't receive any public comment, I assume.
We have not.
Okay.
Well, one comment, one of the neighbors is proposing this. You pointed, you want to make sure that the neighbors wouldn't have a problem with this. Well, he's the principal neighbor right now.
Will he be the owner?
Yes. Right now, he's not, but
Correct, correct. Right, he wants to take a stab at crafting.
Tongue tie on that.
well, I can start it and we'll make this a group process. Because that first, I've studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case and I'm familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed demolition, can't say his name.
No,
The proposed demolition
is appropriate.
appropriate given the
Condition.
advanced deteriorated condition of the property, making it
Financially unfeasible to,
financially unfeasible to renovate. Does that make sense?
then we need to
I
add,
think you need to be careful with saying financially unfeasible. Because what's not financially
Right.
feasible for one person can be financially feasible for someone else.
Or maybe, I didn't say anything about structurally. Maybe its structural condition does not warrant renovation, something to that effect, because that's kind of what we're saying. That way you wouldn't say it's financially feasible, it's structurally not.
I'm trying to think of what's a good way. I guess if we could say something about the integrity of the structure. Matt, tell me if I'm wrong about this. You talked about the wall that was separating. So I assume that impacts the integrity of the rest of the structure. So I think if we talk about the level of damage has reached a point where the structural integrity of the building is impacted negatively.
Okay.
Because if we just say, there's a lot of damage, well, someone else could say, well, there's a lot of damage to my house too, and that's why I wanna take it down. Do you see what I'm saying? There, you have to be careful with the wording. Which is why this is a difficult, without
Because we don't have a guideline.
guideline, yes.
And we don't have
Because we're setting a
signed
precedent.
agreement
no,
between the current owner and the town. We have a letter saying that such an agreement will happen. But we don't have I think we really need to have that paperwork that we can attach to this.
Well, what we can do is we can say it's contingent upon that agreement between the two owners and, a sale from
the
one
transfer
to
of
the
property
other.
to the.
Correct. We can say it's contingent upon that. And then obviously if that were to fall apart, then the demolition would not be allowed to proceed. That,
Become a city.
We should have been doing this in voice text, you know that? If we'd have done it in voice text, we could have edited and
okay. Well, one of you fine gentlemen need to make the motion, so,
I will make the motion.
okay,
I make the motion that seven,
yes.
because of the condition of the home, we are going to allow demolition instead of rehabbing it
only one that I had found that was close, was 4.1.J.2.E,
Okay.
which lists, it says the maintenance and rhythm of building masses and spaces between them if such a rhythm exists along a street. There wasn't anything specific just to demolition in any of those sections or any of the guidelines, so to speak. I mean, that could be used, I mean, since it's the closest thing, but I don't know if it's a you all have been here longer than I have. Has there always been a section listed whenever a motion was made?
Yes.
Yeah.
Usually there is,
Okay.
yes. But obviously, with the demolitions, we don't have something at present.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe the last demolition, I think, was 44 West Main, I believe, with the church.
Yeah.
The person. Yeah,
That to be demolished.
and that was the section that was listed
Yeah,
for
that's
that
right.
one.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
That sounds like
Well, can we
yeah,
we can do.
amend the motion to
Yeah.
include
Yes.
pursuant to section 4.1.J.2.E?
yes, we can.
Oh, okay. So that is the one that we had before, okay. I thought that was our stock section that we referred to.
All right. So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
In all fairness, the other contingency we were going to add was that this extends only to need and not a future term.
Yes. Can we please amend the
Yeah.
motion to include? Thank you.
Yes.
All right, with that amendment to, we're muddling through this. So with that amendment, do we have do we have to do another second? No.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, the motion passes.
Thank you.
You got a stinky house.
Whenever you're ready for the demolition, just make sure you stop in for the demolition permit on our office. Thanks, Matt.
Where is the demolition department?
Well, it's part of our department.
Yeah. It's Jing.
Yeah.
All right, we do not have any old business this evening, but we do have one item of new business, 7 Ormond Street, in-kind roof replacement, administrative approval.
Yep, that is the only staff approval that we had this month. It's the Music Academy building out here on the corner. It's technically 7 and I think 9. It might be, it encompasses two addresses, but they did the in-kind roof replacement.
All right,
Two addresses on the same street, or is it getting one address on?
They're actually, I think it's 7
7
and
and
9
9
Ormond
Ormond.
Street. It comes down.
Straight down.
Yeah,
Right.
not over. Yeah.
all right, so, I guess if we could just talk about how we move forward with trying to develop, a demolition guideline.
Doing a search to see what might be available out there in other communities would make sense, because this obviously happens all the time.
Well, and I think Cumberland too, so remember that a few years ago, wasn't that one of their initiative was for like blight and everything, so it'd be nice to see how they determined an entire block going
Right.
with, one house or something, like just to see how they did that.
question is, you were talking about somebody could buy it, knock that building down, put a McDonald's. Where would zoning overlap with it? Because zoning has, doesn't that trump
Yeah.
what goes in a particular neighborhood?
Yeah, plus anything that would get reconstructed there would have to come
Come through here.
before historic district anyway with being new
That's right.
construction, so.
Rather than zoning, but I mean, is it,
But
Well,
that
it would
also
have to do
would,
both. It would
yeah,
have
it
to
would,
do
it would be
both.
Gotta
both.
vote.
Yeah, yeah, so if it didn't even meet the zoning criteria, it wouldn't even come here because we kind of probably shut it down before that.
Before we
just
did
feel like
that.
it's not compatible with the zone, it's not something that would be a permitted
Okay.
use. If it is something that is a permitted use, like if it's another house, like say a house gets reconstructed there, that is permitted, and then it would come here
here.
for the approval of the commission.
That would be an interesting one to do.
Well, and I think one that kind of makes me frustrated is the corner.
Corner market.
Oh. No, wait.
That's another one.
are we,
Sorry.
No, the demolition, no,
Okay.
the demolition that occurred, at the corner of Main Street and Depot, at the restaurant.
The back of that.
Behind it.
And we were presented
Mhm.
plans for what was going to take place
And it
after
didn't
the
happen.
demolition. And that never happened. And so there has to be thought process put in for situations like that there has to be, maybe if the demolition is being, proposed at the same time, plans for whatever is being, have to be in full, they have to be fully developed, you have to know exactly what it is you want to do. I don't know, some way to prevent what's happened there from happening again.
Speaking of that, I noticed that, that particular lot in question is now a brickyard.
No, that's a different one.
I'm talking, well, I guess we're talking about
Right,
different
right behind the
places.
show, right behind
You're
Shogun.
talking about the.
Behind Shogun?
Apology, yeah.
Across from Fat Boys.
No, we're talking about Shogun.
Yeah.
The brick fill.
No,
I mean, it's nice to be able to leave it all there, but,
no, it's going to need to be cleaned up.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been long enough, I think that's something that needs to happen
Right.
quickly. But also, I thought you were getting into the, document, rather the discussion that we had about a parklet that was going to go into that, the front
Oh,
part.
yes, well, I was actually talking about the corner lot, there was plans for being an outdoor seating area. and
Pizza
all-
ovens, that whole thing,
There
yep.
was gonna be all of this, what sounded like an amazing, addition to the restaurant. So they were tearing down the garage so they could have this outdoor area
Mhm.
that would have looked very nice on a very visible corner in
Yep.
town. And obviously, none of that came to fruition, and it's,
Yes, especially
Well, no one
important
gets
when
in
we're
trouble for
talking
it,
about
Here's a-
properties that are commercial properties where promises that might come from the current owner, from the city, whatever, unless they're down in a document, they could just evaporate.
right. And demolition, once it's done, you can't undo that.
Right.
It's done.
That's right.
So now we've got these holes in a main part of our historic district, and it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, and especially we get tourists coming up from the terrain and what do they see? The
Yeah.
first thing is right there.
Yeah.
And then
Two
they
holes.
turn the corner and, oh, there's another one.
Yeah.
Well, and it is hard because it's private property, so it's that balance between,
Right.
you know, because there's tons of places that are completely empty and nobody is ever renting them out. So that's another hole. The building's there, but that's still a hole.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, it's
But
hard.
and that building especially, cause it had two main facades really,
Mhm.
you know? And so now you've lost that completely, um, you know, and it's still, I know the city's tried with the mural and everything, but it's,
Well, there's
still
no
an eyesore.
consequences to going against the plan. I mean,
right.
you know, there's,
Who built the structure that's there now? I mean, the St. Cloud Hotel was there before,
Oh.
and
I'm thinking whoever it is long gone.
I mean, I always wonder the driving underneath the
I think it was a, gas station
gas station.
It was a gas station.
at one point.
And then a dry
When
I only knew it
was
as a
a place
dry
where you
cleaners.
could take your clothes to be dry cleaned and stored over the,
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
over the lake.
So I did have a question, I guess on old business. I drove by there's that little cottage looking house, it's really cute, up there on West End with the front porch, and they put those like decorative, like wood slats over top of it, it's before you get to Lemert Street.
Okay.
Um,
On that
It's
side.
the
Yeah,
one,
on that side.
they came here,
Yes, they came here.
and we asked them
Oh,
to take
And they
off
yes.
the
and
wood.
it hasn't happened yet, so I don't know.
Ah.
They already did it, that's, in that case, they had done the work, and they came and asked for approval.
Right.
That's
I
not-
thought someone in community development went to them and said it was wrong.
No.
That's how long it's been.
I think somebody told them they had to do it, but they had I mean, they needed to get approval to do it, but they'd already had the work done.
And they agreed
So-
to take off certain things that they
Yeah.
wanted to take
Yeah.
off, and they did
Yeah.
do that.
Okay.
But
But
I
yeah,
noticed
that
the
was
Christmas
another
decorations were there
after
for
the
a
fact.
long.
Well, that's okay. I love it. Good, some glitter. There's nothing wrong with glitter.
So, do we need to schedule a work session to kind of work through this, or how should we proceed?
I mean, we can set something up if that's acceptable to all of you.
I mean, is it something we could do via email where, you know, a document's kind of put together and then
Cut
we
and
could-
paste.
Well, yeah, and then maybe it's
And then
something.
come back together.
When we come back at a meeting, maybe it's an item on the agenda, so we could have a discussion.
Because I think one point you mentioned was the demolition by neglect.
Uh-huh.
That is all over the place, and
Mhm.
that really needs to,
Absolutely.
because that's all that happened in
That's
this
what-
house, and it's just so sad, because
Exactly.
Matt said it was probably just really pretty one time.
Oh, some of those pictures, I mean, you could
Yeah.
tell. I mean, some of the features in there were,
Mhm,
and the
so-
windows, I drove by it.
Well, the
I
house
mean,
has
those-
never been updated or anything.
Right, and that's what
Long,
makes
long,
it so
long.
amazing and such a
It's-
resource, and now it's
I know, it makes me so sad.
gone.
I don't think it's changed since I was a kid, because it was the rectory when I was a kid.
So the other thing, to consider when we're talking about demolition, and this was something I brought up when we were talking about Appetit, is retaining some of the features, the special features about the building. Like, if there was a beautiful tin ceiling, or, some of the, windows, or
Or cornice or something.
exactly, something like that. Some of those distinguishing features about that particular house. Or the other thing is that it would be documented before the demolition.
Has to be documented or it doesn't happen.
Right, so, I mean, those kind of things we can put in, you know, the guidelines that would have to happen.
Yeah, and
Those are all important that we should consider.
it is, because it can get lost as we've seen
How
too
enforceable are
many
the
times.
Yeah.
things that we put in?
I mean, it's in the zoning ordinance, and so, like, the fact that if it's something that the Historic District Commission mandates or, you know, stipulates, because it's in the zoning ordinance, it's an ordinance, it
this is that the city can't do anything when a house is starting to get run down. Like there were like 3 of them in a row right on Main Street down by between Lee Street and Grant Street. Especially the one that, I mean, I was in that house too, the brick house on the corner of Lee and Main.
And
That was a really nice
that's
house.
beautiful, yes.
And it just is.
We gave it an
We
award.
gave it an award.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
So,
How quickly we
Yes.
paid her.
After that, it was,
They were just in it for the award.
I guess,
It had blue tarp on its roof, so
yes.
I'm sure it has.
Can't even see it now, the
No.
tree's so overgrown, you can't see the tarp.
I just don't understand that owner.
And it was the blue one, so the thing is
Yes.
disintegrated and
but I guess, I don't know whether the
I
city can
shouldn't laugh, it makes
enforce
me
anything,
sad.
a period of time, if a house, if it's visibly deteriorating,
It's
if
hard.
it doesn't get remedied, there's gotta be some way the city can say, either you do something or we're gonna
Well,
foreclose
I
on it.
think,
Well,
I think we
there
need
is
to-
We're gonna get stuck with
I
having to
think-
tear all these houses down if people keep letting them get run down, cause we can't, you can't fix them.
Well, that's demolition by neglect, and
yeah.
so there are,
I think we need to use some carrots, like maybe come up with some kind of grant program or some kind of incentive. Kind of like, you have a facade grant for businesses. Maybe we need that in the historic district for these older homes, and we can probably go and talk to those homeowners that we kind of have a list of like, okay, let's offer this first. And even,
there are tax credit available.
and just like because it's like a lot of it's a lot of paperwork to dig through, and if you don't know where to
Yes.
start to look, and really it's like how many hoops can you jump before we give you the check for it? So it's just kind of, we should help people jump through those hoops.
Well, I think
Um,
most of these that I'm thinking of are absentee landlords. There's nobody living in any
Yeah,
of those 3 houses.
but even landlords will say, what, you have $10,000 to give me and all I have to do is match it? Sure. You know what I mean? I mean, people will do things for free money. Because if they're doing it for a business, if they are landlords, maybe that's a special program for landlords in the historic district, because they've split homes into, they chop them up inside, so now there are 8 apartments instead of a 3-bedroom, single-family home. So now all these single-family need places to live, and there's nowhere for them to live because it's all college rentals. So there needs to be, I think the city needs to come up with some kind of program to help these landlords, at least bring the homes, the facades back to at least something close to where they were. And I think that's a program we need to do, because the rental areas look really, really bad in town. It's really bad. So I just think there's something we need to help them with, because they went from filling all these homes with with students, and now they're empty. So, and they're not attractive to families who want to live here. I know a lot of people want to live here and there's nowhere to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's hard. But I don't know, that's another on the list of items.
Certainly something else we could do, and actually it's part of the conversation we've just been having, is to identify those properties in the historic district where there may have been a building torn down and now it's just a vacant space.
What can we do?
Or 3 buildings in a row, one of which used to be an award winner and no longer is. But if we could just identify and share with the city, here are some problem areas. I don't think. we
City
can-
probably knows, right?
It-
I'm sure
I-
your
I
department
think
does.
it's part of
But maybe
part of what we have here in our statement of purpose.
if we bring
Right,
it
right,
up,
right.
maybe we need to bring it up.
And along those same lines,
You need a
you know,
field trip.
once you demolish, well, now you need,
A plan.
new building guidelines as
Yes.
well. Is what happens when someone buys an empty lot in the middle of the historic district, what's appropriate to then build there.
But we have a big, we go right down to the corner where the pizza place is, and we got several different properties that have either been torn down and are just not even parking lots, they're just gravel
fix it though. So,
Well, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.